The user Shockofgod, that's the guy who makes all the videos of himself while he's riding his motorcycle, has posted a general challenge to all atheists. He wants us to provide, quote, proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Now, he goes around bragging that people like the atheist experience hasn't risen to the occasion and met this challenge. But I think the reason that is shock is because your question is not only incoherent, but it also displays a lack of command of the English language, as well as a lack of understanding of what the key terms mean, as well as a sort of philosophical simpletonism. So the question is incoherent because it's asking for proof and evidence of belief. When you say you are a theist, that means you're describing your belief in God. Or if you're an atheist, that describes your lack of belief in God. So imagine asking the question this way: what is your proof and evidence that believing in God is accurate and correct? Stated as such, you're asking for proof and evidence of believing, but beliefs are states of mind which you either possess or you don't possess. They're not propositions that can be true or false. So the question is, as stated, incoherent. Not to mention the fact that accurate and correct are synonyms in the way that you use them, which just makes it sort of redundant. So why don't you just formulate it as, what is your proof and evidence that atheism is true? The second problem is, what I think you're trying to say is that, what is your proof and evidence that God doesn't exist? Maybe that is a more accurate representation of what you're going for. In which case, again, atheism and theism regard beliefs. It's not a matter of proving that God doesn't exist, merely lacking belief in God. Proof is more in the realm of knowledge. Proof, despite what you might think in some colloquial sense is easy to achieve just by tossing out some arguments, is actually pretty much limited to things like mathematics and symbolic logic. Proof is generally not possible when you're talking about empirical knowledge. If you even understand what those terms mean, which, given your lack of command of the English language and the definitions, I'm sorry to say I have to doubt at this point. So, to ask for proof that there is no God, that's like asking, it'd be like if I told you my name is Peter, and my name is Peter, by the way, but if I said, my name's Peter, and then I said, do you believe my name is Peter? And you said, yes. I said, well, can you prove that my name is Peter? What's your evidence? Proof is sort of a silly thing to ask for when you're merely talking about belief. Belief is a tentative, this is the way I hold the world to be, but I don't claim to know it sort of statement. It's just foolish and shows philosophical simpletonism to ask for proof for what one merely believes or lacks belief in. And also, it is perfectly rational to not believe in something if there is no evidence. So, if you lack any evidence for something, anything, then it's perfectly rational to not believe that that proposition is true. I see no evidence, no reason to believe in God. Therefore, it's perfectly rational for me not to believe in Him. I wouldn't go as far as to claim that God doesn't exist, merely that I don't believe that He does, because I see no reason to believe that He does. I can be perfectly rational in that position without providing any proof or evidence, because lacking belief is the default state. I'm sorry to tell you. Your question is, it's just wrong on so many levels, that the reason that you're not getting any answers for it, the reason that nobody is able to rise to your challenge, is because you're asking an incoherent, poorly formulated, erroneous question. And even if you said, well, okay, can you show me that there's no reason to believe in God? It would take forever. I would have to go over every conceivable argument that I've ever heard for the existence of God. Now, fortunately for you, if you go through my back catalog of videos, I've covered pretty much every argument I know. But that's not the point. The point is, I don't need any evidence to disbelieve in something if I have no good reason to believe in it. It's perfectly rational. Thank you and goodbye.